Hello, my name is Sarah Singleton, and this is my family workshop. Communication is a two-way street, communication with children. Communication, by definition, is the imparting or exchanging and sharing information, ideas, feelings, or news, or is a connection between people and places. And in this PowerPoint, we are going to be discussing the communication between parents and their children. How do we communicate? There are three types of communication. There's verbal, nonverbal, and visual. Verbal is words that deliver a message. Nonverbal is sending or receiving wordless messages, so there are no words involved. And there's visual, which is also, there's no words involved, but it's communication in a visual form. Examples are verbal would be like oral or written communication. Someone saying, "Ow, that hurts," or writing a letter to someone. Nonverbal is facial expressions, body language, gestures, or eye contact. The look we see when we see something yucky on our plate, or Charlie frowns while pointing to the truck on the counter. Why is he frowning? And why is he pointing at the truck? Is he scared of the truck? Does he want the truck? Those are all things that nonverbal, you kind of have to understand the child, and you do kind of understand what they want by their expressions without them saying so. Visual. Visual could be drawing a picture, like a little girl drawing a picture of her mommy and her doggy, or dancing, something that used to communicate or deliver a message, but without words. When we're talking to a child, we always need to make sure that we make eye contact. This is very important for the child to learn. As they get older, they are more easily distracted and they want to look around. And it's really good for, us as parents to set that example to always have that eye contact and looking at them and not be distracted as ourselves. Also, um, also when we talk to children, making part of making eye contact, we don't want to be distracted with something else, such as talking on the phone or writing a paper. We need to have their attention on the child so we can deliver that message. When we are speaking with our child, we need to speak simply and directly. This helps the child understand what you're saying and what message you are trying to come across. If you use really large words that's hard to understand and you're just mumbling on, which I do tend to do sometimes with my own children, it just makes it more difficult to understand. And a conversation sometimes that shouldn't be as lengthy ends up being that way because they don't understand what you're trying to tell them. Be mindful of your tone. I think that's really important, that you don't want to be talking at your child, but be talking with your child. Um, your body language is important. The way you're approaching your child when you're talking to them. You don't want to come across and your hands flailing and, "I can't believe you did that." That would make them feel really uneasy, and they'll kind of more likely draw back and not really want to, be themselves and not really approach you as they normally would. So it's important that, when we do get close to them, we are talking to them, use that proper, kind of just be more approachable to them, and make sure we get down to their level. As they're little and they look around and everything's bigger than them, and sometimes it's intimidating. And part of that approach for them is just to bend down, or sit together on the couch and just kind of be at their level and talk one on one. I think that makes them feel more comfortable, and I think that kind of gives you more insight and more focus as well when talking with your child. Children communicate differently by age. Babies, they coo or cry, babble. They use a lot of non verbal communication, such as smiling, giggling, and crying. When the baby gets the big lip because they're sad, um, pointing. They learn a lot of those things in the early years. As they grow, they start learning action words like I can do this, or I can go, or I go potty, I sit chair, I clean up, I help. They learn, oh, I can do this. This is what I am going to be doing. They learn that most magical word, no, and they use it well. And they start learning that no means boundaries, and as they find their independence, sometimes they don't want to do things when you say no. When they become preschoolers, they learn to create powerful meanings with their words. They begin more complicated sentences, and they start copying what other people say. They love to use the Y factor because they are interested, and the world is glorious, and there's just so many things the world has to offer, and they just want to know what it is. So they use a lot of the why. Why are you driving that way, Mommy? Why are we going in the car? Why are you wearing red pants? So it's fun. It's a fun age. And when they become school agers, communication styles become more tailored to their surroundings, which means they start talking more appropriately around certain types of groups, like as in school or with friends. Um, their their communication becomes more purposeful, and they become more complex. Understanding your child. Every child is different, and they all will communicate developmentally in different times, different ways, I guess. Like my kids, my daughter speaks way more than my son at her age. When she was a young 3, she just yabba 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 yabba, and my son was more like, yeah, yeah, I want to eat that. So every child's different. There are guidelines to what they should be doing, but don't stress on that. Child communication depends on their age, gender, cultures, and personality. Understanding what your child is trying to say. It kind of requires you trying to get inside their head, and ask yourself, why is my child choosing to act out this behavior? What is my child trying to communicate? What is the expected outcome? Is there anything that's triggering this behavior? When conflict arises, try to approach the conflict playfully. I think that sometimes this is really smooth. And these are examples like, silly, Mommy forgot to lay out your clothes. You can't go to school and wearing your socks. That's silly. It's just something that they kind of just laugh it off, and conflict won't arise. You can focus on the positive before bringing up the negative. Admit your mistakes. We all make mistakes, and it's important for kids to understand that we all do make mistakes. It's not only them. As adults, we do too, and that's just part of being human. Offer limited choices. Instead of saying, what do you want to eat today? You can say, would you like to either eat pork chops or chicken? Something limited, and it'll be a lot less stressful for the parents as well. Use conversation to find a solution. As your child gets older, even when they're 2, you can talk with them, and you guys can come up with solutions together. Proactively listening with your child. Take the time to listen to your child. That's kind of going back to being distracted. We don't want to be distracted, and sometimes it's hard because life is so busy and there's so many things that we need to be doing, but we really need to focus on what our child is trying to say. And as a mother, I have a difficult time doing this at times because I'm just doing so much, and my son is trying to tell me how his day was and what this person did to him at school, and I'm just like, okay. and that's not okay. We need to stop and again get down to their level and really listen to what they're saying. Not listen to have a response, but to listen to actually hear what they have to say. Repeat what you heard. Ask specific questions to kind of keep that conversation going. Consider your child's opinions. As they grow, they're going to have opinions. And don't demeanor them because they have opinions, and I don't say that because people think, oh, we all would do that, but sometimes we do because like well, you're just a child, you don't know. But their opinions are amazing, and we really should welcome them in open arms because they have great ideas too. Acknowledge their feelings about how they feel. Um, and listen to your child's request without judging or correcting it. Accept their feelings. Sometimes it can be difficult to accept your child's feelings. Allow your child to express themselves and don't shut them out. Sometimes we tend to shut out the negative emotions, like we don't want you to feel that. And it's important that they do feel that. We have to feel anger and sadness and disappointment, because if we never feel that, we're never going to learn how to cope of feeling that way. So let them feel that way. It is okay to feel angry and sad. Um, Express your child how they feel and how that makes you feel when they feel that way. Confirm understanding and avoid attacking your child's character. If they make a bad choice, don't say, just be like, oh, I don't like the way you knocked over your sister's cup. Um, Instead of saying, you're so bad, why would you knock over your sister's cup? You're always doing mean things to her. That just set it up that you're saying, hey, he's a mean kid. He's always knocking her cup over. And we don't want to do that with our children. Um, Suggest, this is a little outline from a website that I'm using to reference. Um, Suggest positive behaviors, options as solutions, and make sure to leave that door of communication open so they know that the next time they feel badly, they can come to you for help and know that you won't judge or punish them for how long they're feeling. I think that's pretty important that we should follow. Communication with the angry child. Let your child express and explain their negative feelings. Confirm understanding. Express how their feelings affect you. We could problem solve with them why they feel angry and come up with a solution and set your limits. Like this, there's some things that are not okay, that this is not going to happen. Sorry, you're not going to be able to go outside and play in the yard when it's dark. That's just the way it is. But there's other things you can do to set up with limits, and when you make consequences for those, make sure you explain what is going to happen, why is it going to happen, and what's going to be expected. How to deal with tantrums. Let the tantrums happen as long as they're not hitting in danger of themselves or in danger of others or you. If they're welling all over the floor, let them get that out. Avoid threatening them. Try to stay calm. If you're angry and yelling at them, that can kind of escalate, and the situation will not go anywhere. And try to comfort your child physically. But most of all, when it's over, and try to talk to him about what just happened and why did it happen. I mean, and again, you don't have to make it a very lengthy conversation. You just kind of want, that bonding of, well, this is what happened. That's how you felt. I'm sorry you felt that way, but the reason why we couldn't go here is because of this. And next time maybe we'll try this. Try to find a solution so maybe that won't occur again. And most of all, when you're communicating with your child, always, 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 every day, as much as you can, maybe not every second or they won't believe you, is tell them how much they love you or how much you love them and how important they are. They're good features and subject to share, and when you talk to them, make sure you ask them questions so they have to actually tell you something back. Thank you for viewing my presentation. And these are my references. Bye-bye.